guys, if you're new here, my name is Michaela, and if you aren't, then welcome back. So for someone who usually gets on TikTok quite a lot, I have seen so many books going through my For You page, and with the way that people have talked about them, honestly has made me want to read them so much. So I did. And I am here to give you my ratings and my reviews and everything I have to say about these books, because a lot of them are 100% overrated and anything above overrated. So I just want to go through these with you, and I'm going to try my best not to be too harsh, because I feel like you shouldn't really judge books or movies or music, anything like that, because when the people make them, they have the idea of something. It's hard to judge these kind of things because they usually tend to be more personal. But let's just get started. First book is Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. I have mixed opinions about this book because this thing basically goes around pen pals who fall in love. And then they meet, but the guy knows who the girl is, but the girl doesn't know who the guy is. The girl isn't really who she portrayed herself to be. And the thing about this book is that when I think of pen pals, it seems like such a sweet and like wholesome thing, but this book wasn't, just because the guy was so harsh towards the girl, and that like kind of affected everything of the story, I think. But overall, I really did enjoy this book. I think I would give this book like a 4 out of 5 because it's very hard for me to give a 5-star. It's very rare that I do that, and I know a lot of people say that, but it's completely true. They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I read this book. I cried reading this book. When I tell people I cried about this book, they're like confused about it because the title is literally They Both Die at the End. But I think why I cried was because as soon as there was romance involved, the book ended. I'm not a big fan of slow burns, but honestly this was a very good slow burn. Definitely overhyped. I feel like the story could have been opened out more. But overall, I think I would give that book like a 3 out of 5 because, like I said, I felt like it wasn't stretched out enough. It could have definitely had more of a plot to it. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, my very first Colleen Hoover book. Honestly, recommend this book so much, and I know everyone recommends it, and there is so much annotating that was done into this book. I feel like the plot isn't really mentioned that much. I think it's better that way. I read this book not knowing anything about it, which is what made the experience of reading it so much better. I read this book in like 2 days. Overall, I would have to give this book a 5-star. It was just so good. I feel like it really touched on everything that it should have, and everything was mentioned that should have been mentioned. This is After by Anna Todd, such an old BookTok book. Writing and everything was not good at all, but the story and the plot was very good. This is definitely a guilty pleasure. I am in love with this series. I have read all of them except the last 2. One of them on my shelf. I just need to get the very last one. That was a lot to say about one book, but I give this book a 5-star for sure. I love it. I don't know, I just love it, but I can't find myself recommending it to someone, but I love it. And I think it's because it's a guilty pleasure. Like, I don't know. This book, I have so much to say about it. I definitely need to do a video on the series someday. The Selection by Kyra Cass, I'm not sure how you say it. I did not have that much annotating to do with it. It was very young adult, of course. Not a big fan of dystopian books, but this was dystopian and I enjoyed it. I do want to read the rest of the series. I have them on my shelf. I just need to get to it. I cannot find myself to read a series all in one time. I have to like spread it apart. If not, I'll get bored and like it'll just put me in a big reading slump because I feel like I'm reading one giant book. Just got this series for Christmas, and I had no intentions of reading it before that, and then me and one of my mom's friends read it together, so that was super exciting because it kind of motivated me to keep reading it. A lot of people hated on it, and I don't have a problem with it. Like, I personally enjoyed it. I would say if you're not into dystopian or if you're not into romance, do not read this, but if you're into one of the two, then you would probably enjoy this a lot. Many people do not like the main character. Personally, I like the main character a lot. She's very like upfront about things. Like, she knows how she feels and she says it, and she's not afraid to hurt anyone's feelings. I should give it like a 3 out of 5, honestly, because the book is called The Selection and the selection wasn't even made. I have People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This is the only book I read by Emily Henry. A very slow book. I have to give this book like a 2 out of 5 because honestly, I did not enjoy it. I always go in with high expectations when it comes to BookTok books because everyone talks about them in such a good way, and that is my fault for this book. I can't do slow burns. Like, I cannot do slow burns, and this book is a slow burn, and as soon as they fell in love, the book ended, and that's what kind of got me upset because I'm in for the romance. Like, every book I read is pretty much revolves around romance. This is In 5 Years by Rebecca Surley. I'm still reading it, and it is terrible. I'm almost done, and the characters have no personality at all, and that's like what drives a book. Like, that's what makes a book good to me. And to know that I'm almost done and the characters have no personality just ends the book for me. So what I have seen on TikTok, so many people love it, but I just don't love it. And I had no expectations with this book because I had no idea what I was going to be reading, and I just did not like it. So from now on, I think I just need to have low expectations on BookTok books and just maybe stop buying BookTok books and get off of BookTok and just stay away from BookTok. I feel like this was a very aggressive video, so I'm sorry about that. But these are literally just my honest opinions about every single one of these books. If you disagree with these, you can comment down below because I would love to hear your input on any of these books. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you've made it to the end, comment this emoji because I love seeing who like actually watches to the end of my videos. Bye! I swear I'd